Hey, what's up, everybody? Gonna do a classic rock reaction, man. This is Led Zeppelin. I'm gonna be doing Led Zeppelin's entire Houses of the Holy album. How this is coming about is, you're probably saying, yeah, well, you actually already did reactions to individual songs for Led Zeppelin, doing the whole chronology. True. As I explained earlier, I feel personally that I have to go back a little bit and reconnect, if you will, to some of their albums. Some albums, of course, resonate with me a little bit stronger than others. Those that don't resonate with me as strong, I'd like to go back and revisit them, because doing individual songs stretched out over a period of a couple of weeks, and then you do another song, a few more weeks, another song. I mean, that's all good, covering the whole chronology of it, but the connecting factor, the connecting fiber is not there. And a number of Led Zeppelin fans have said to me, yeah, you really should experience it the way the guys intended you to, and that is listening to the whole album in one listen. So yeah, I see the value in that. I certainly got a lot of value out of Led Zeppelin 3 doing that. So there's a couple of albums, man. Led Zeppelin 3, as I mentioned, Houses of the Holy, Presence, and In Through the Outdoor. Those are the four albums that after breaking down each individual song and reacting to each one, I have not revisited. I have not listened to it in its entirety, that sort of thing. All the other albums, yes, but not these ones. And so I feel a slight disconnect. So what I'm going to do, man, is based on a lot of recommendations and requests, I'll go back and I'll basically do the whole album thing. So this is what we're going to do, man. Going all the way through Houses of the Holy from beginning to end. We'll break for a minute just so that I can get the point break for the review portion up, and then it's basically going to go up as one whole video. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll make it onto YouTube, and we'll go from there. But we'll see. So that's the method to my madness, man. So with all of that being said, let's hit this up, man. Houses of the Holy, Led Zeppelin, full album reaction. Let's get it. Do you hear that bass work? Hear that bass work? These guys are so good, man. Damn. They're all equals. Greatest John Bonham. Great guitar. One of my favorite Zeppelin songs performed live. This one also.
Springtime of my love, the second season I am to know. You are the sunlight in my growing, so little warmth I've felt before. It isn't hard to feel me glowing. I watched the fire that grew so low.
This is the song that made me trust Led Zeppelin fans. I was so adamant about not playing ballads and love songs. This made me change my mind. Excellent.
Flee from me, keepers of the blue. Speak to me only with your eyes. It is to you I give this tune. Ain't so hard to recognize, oh. These things are clear to all from time to time.
Excellent.
And like the wind, their eyes fall. This is the wonder of devotion. I see the torch we all must hold. This is the mystery of the quotient.
Upon us all, a little rain must fall. Reminds me of my mom. She used to say, a tide raises all ships. Meaning, I'm not just gonna whoop your sibling's ass. I'm gonna whoop your ass too. We all got it. Fantastic. I describe the Rain song as one of those key songs, one of those key triggering songs that made me stop and go all the way back from the beginning. I realized I didn't know shit about Led Zeppelin after that.
Hey lady, you got the love I need. Baby, more than enough. Oh, darling, 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 walk a while with me. Oh, you got so much so much, so much.
This is one of the Lord of the Rings songs, right? Cue the number. Many times been bitten. It's one of my favorite guitar solos from Page. When I say that he can talk to you through that instrument, I'm thinking of this solo. I remember my lesson from the first time. I'm gonna shut my damn mouth. It's not over yet. Some of you really killed my ass for talking right after this point. Oh shit. This funky mess, as I call it.
Tell you nothing, but I do will
Yes, I'm sitting through the crunch for y'all.
I ain't gonna tell you nothing, I ain't gonna tell you no more.
That's love.
She's my baby, let me tell you that I love her so. She's the woman I really wanna love her, let me tell you more. Ooh, she's my baby, let me tell you, she lives next door. She's the one, woman that I know. I ain't going to tell you one thing that you really ought to know. Boy, she's my lover, baby, and I love her so. And she's the one that really makes me 1 and 12. And she's the kind of lover that makes me feel a whole world. And she's the one who really makes me jump and shout. Oh, she's the kind of girl I know what it's all about. Take it on. Take it.
Those ands and O's really kill me.
Excuse me. Oh, will you excuse me? I'm just trying to find the bridge. Has anybody seen the bridge? Please.
Have you seen the bridge?
I ain't seen the bridge.
Where's that confounded bridge?
You take out 1 or 2 ands and O's, and it's a great song.
Dancing days are here again. Summer evenings grow. I got my flower, I got my power. I got a woman who knows. I said it's alright, you know it's alright. I guess it's all in my heart. You'll be my only, my one and only. Is that the way it should start? Crazy ways are evident in the way you wear your clothes. Sipping booze is president as the evening starts to glow. You know it's alright, I said it's alright. You know it's all in my heart. Be my only, my one and only. Is that the way it should start? Dude.
Great diversity. This is the album of diversity.
You told your mama I'd get you home, but you didn't say that I got no car. I saw a lion, he was standing alone, the tadpole in a jar. You know it's alright, I said it's alright. I guess it's all in my heart, heart, heart. You'll be my only, my one and only. Is that the way it should start? So dancing days are here again as the summer evenings grow.
The song.
You are my flower, you are my power, you are my woman.
Can still keep you captivated.
I said it's alright, you know it's alright, you know it's all
No
in my
thunder.
heart. You'll be my only, it's my one and only. Is that the way it should start? I love it, is that?
Just good lyrics and good musicianship. And they keep their signature sound, regardless. Good guitar work. Brothers hurt me bad.
You hurt me to my soul. You hurt me to my soul. Darling, please don't go.
I bet you this is where all the rappers got that catchphrase from. Baby, please. Please, baby, please.
When I read the news that it broke me, made me sad, sad, sad. But I still love you so, and I can't let you go. I love you. Ooh, baby, I love you.
Some great diversity, man. How many bands wish that they could flip a coin and decide, yo, let's do a rock reggae song? You know? Why? Why are we going to do a rock reggae song? Because we can.
won't be home tonight. The snow falls hard, and don't you know? The winds of Thor are blowing cold. They're wearing steel that's bright and true. They carry news that must get through. Nature's a place where no one
Talk about a great story being told here. I had to listen to this a few more times. It's probably my most listened to Led Zeppelin song. Excellent.
side by side with them. Devil mops their every step. Snow drives by the foot that's slow. The dogs of doom are howling more.
The foot that's slow. Hobbits.
They carry news that must get through. But there's a dream for me and you. Oh, this is a path that no one
No mercy. Don't you think that this is one of his best vocal performances? On this album, certainly, and the Rain song. Don't you think? Even live, their song remains the same live renditions. The plant was on point, man. That was done, huh?
Singing in the sunshine, laughing in the rain, feeling on the moonshine, rocking in the grain. Got no time to pack my bag, my foot's outside the door. I got a date, I can't be late for the hand I'm looking for. Oh yeah. Singing to an ocean, I can hear the ocean's drum. Play for free and play for me. I play a whole lot more. Sing about the good things and the sun that lights the day. I used to sing to the mountains as the ocean lost its way.
The ocean represents the fans.
Around singing songs till the night turns into day. Used to sing about mountains, but the mountains washed away. Now I'm singing all my songs to the girl who won my heart. She is only 3 years old and it's a real fine way to start. Oh yeah,
It's his daughter.
so it's fine. I blow my mind. But the feels all going down. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I bet you they're having a lot of fun with this song. Probably smiling. This is the fun song. Listen to that guitar playing there.
Oh, it's so good.
You guys are all so good. Right on. All right, y'all. And there we have it, man. Led Zeppelin, Houses of the Holy. Complete, in full. That's what I'm talking about. the whole album experienced. The whole album experience to be experienced the way the lads intended it. Full album. Not hopping around and jumping around, taking this song, that song, that song. One of the first things I noted in my mind about Led Zeppelin was, I kept asking everybody, damn man, all right, I know that a whole lot of love exists. I know that, what are the other singles? Song Remain, or Stairway to Heaven, Black Dog Rock and Roll, Immigrant Song. I know that these songs exist, but then I kept asking the question, well, why doesn't this song? Why isn't this song? This song is just as good, if not better. This one, this one, this one. And the answers predominantly coming back time and time again was Zeppelin did not believe in singles as much as they wanted the fans to experience the whole album, the whole experience from one song to another. So you got to listen to it as a complete album. Good call. I'm glad you guys stuck to that. I'm glad you insisted on it. Glad you fought. See, just hearing that alone conjures up in my mind what they had to do to get that album to us in the format that it was intended. They probably had to fight like hell. They probably had to piss off a lot of people. They probably had to do all manner of things. So again, where it comes to the study of rock and roll and the history of it, I really appreciate what they had to do to get this music to us. They had to sacrifice, they had to fight, they had to do a whole bunch of things to get it to us and get it to us in a way that we should listen to it. That's the stuff that you don't know, you don't hear about, and that's why it's intriguing to me where it comes to reading about this stuff, learning about this stuff. You get a feel for the background of the music. Every song has a story. Every album has a story. And I'm sure going through the chronology of their albums, every single album brought to it different challenges and all of that. So that's the stuff. That's the juice of what I really actually like to learn about. It makes me appreciate the music a lot more. It makes me appreciate that period of time a lot more, that renaissance of creativity. But that renaissance wasn't just a renaissance of creativity and giving Led Zeppelin a gift of diversity like in this album. It also had some really, really interesting growing pains, unique challenges. That's the shit. That's the stuff that I find very, very intriguing about rock and roll, man. Why it's lasted so long. Why thousands of years later we're still going to be talking about Led Zeppelin. You know what I'm saying? So, you can tell I'm passionate about this shit. This is a science to me, y'all. I don't wade into things lightly. I jump right in when I decide to. I was really, really cautious at first with Led Zeppelin in the beginning. A couple of songs off of this album made me change my mind in regards to taking the Led Zeppelin dive, giving them that treatment, and going all the way back to the beginning. No Quarter, the song remains the same, and Rain Song. Those three songs off of this album made me say, yo, holy shit, diversity like you wouldn't believe. And I don't know as much as I thought I knew about them. I can't just say, yeah, I'll hit up a couple of quads and be done with Led Zeppelin and move on. The stupid shit I used to think. So this album, songs off of this album really, really made me take notice of their diversity, of the way that they can create, and it took a serious amount of balls to be able to say, yeah, okay, off of the strength of our first two very, very heavy rock blues based songs, we're going to go in a different direction. We're going to hit up, Led Zeppelin 3, and then we're going to go to Houses of the Holy. It took probably a serious amount of chance and risks. So, and hats off to the fifth and the sixth members of Led Zeppelin. Peter Grant, their manager who stuck by them, and Ahmet Ertegun, the CEO of Atlantic Records, who gave them, that wide berth to create and take it in whatever direction. And he had enough faith to say, yeah, I'm putting the future of Atlantic in your hands, where we're either going to sink or we're going to swim. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to some of these key individuals that was instrumental in Led Zeppelin's success, man. It isn't just the four guys, it's some of the surrounding bodies of people around them, man, who knew they had talent and who invested in that talent and had faith in it, even when they were taking completely different roads. That must have been a serious test of faith, let me tell you, man. All right, hey. So, Point Break. This is the end of my reaction. Let's do a little point break. I'm going to go get hydrated, and let's come back for the review. Review won't take long, probably about 15 minutes or so. But hopefully in this way, it's going to make it up onto YouTube. Not holding my breath with that, but sometimes I'm pleasantly surprised. I don't know. Let's see you back in about a couple of minutes. Peace. Okay, y'all. Let's hit up a review for this great album, man. First question I have off the top of my head is, which of these songs is your favorite off of this album? Which ones? Any of these songs happens to be your very favorite Led Zeppelin song? Let me know about that. Off of the album, which is your favorite? And off of this album, any of these songs your absolute favorite Led Zeppelin song? I bet you I'm going to hear yes to probably Rain Song and No Quarter. Maybe also Song Remains the Same, and I'm guessing Over the Hills and Far Away. But let me know. So, man, let's do a review of this great album, man. Houses of the Holy, Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin, Houses of the Holy, is the fifth studio album by English rock band Led Zeppelin. It was released on the 28th of March in '73 by Atlantic Records. The album benefited from two band members installing studios at home, which allowed them to develop more sophisticated songs and arrangements and expand their musical style. Several songs subsequently became fixtures in the group's live set, including The Song Remains the Same, The Rain Song, and No Quarter. Yeah, interesting. And all three of these particular songs, I find that the live version, specifically The Song Remains the Same version, live version, is actually even better than the studio cut. Not taking anything away from the studio cut, but I like the raw, gritty, atmospheric sound of the live sound applied to these three songs, man. I think it's really, really awesome. What's the other song that I like? Is it Celebration Day? It's not on this album, but Celebration Day also. I really like that cut on a live platform. Other material recorded at the sessions, including the title track, was shelved and released on the later albums Physical Graffiti and Coda. All instruments and vocals were provided by band members Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, and John Bonham. The album was produced by Jimmy Page, and it was mixed by Eddie Kramer. The cover was the first by the band to be designed by Hypnosis and was based on a photograph taken at Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. Although critical response was mixed, Houses of the Holy became a commercial success, later receiving a diamond, that's over 10 million albums sold, a diamond certification by the RIAA in 1999. In 2020, the album was ranked at number 278 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. So that's the intro recording. By '72, Led Zeppelin had achieved sustained commercial and critical success from both their studio albums and live shows. They were keen to record on location using the Rolling Stones Mobile Studio, as it had been an enjoyable experience from their entitled fourth album, released the previous year. After touring Australia in April of '72, the group decided to take the mobile studio to Mick Jagger's home, Stargroves, a manor a manor house and country estate in Hampshire. Eddie Kramer returned as recording engineer. Is it Eddie Kramer who was telling the story that with the mobile studio, they would get up in the middle of the night and they'd have this inspiration to jam, and they'd bang on his door, wake him up and say, hey, yeah, we want to jam for a bit. Can you open up the studio? And then after a while, he got tired of that shit and he decided to actually go home every night. Was it Eddie Kramer who was telling that story? Let me know. Some songs from the album had initially been tried out in early sessions, such as No Quarter, which was first attempted during a session at Headley Grange Estate in East Hampshire. Both guitarist and producer Jimmy Page and bassist keyboardist John Paul Jones had installed home studios, which allowed them to arrive at Stargroves with complete compositions and arrangements. Page's home studio used some of the equipment from Pi Mobile Studios, which had been used to record The Who's 1970 live album Live at Leeds. Because of his home studio, he was able to present a complete arrangement of the Rain song, including non-standard guitar tunings and a variety of dynamics, and Over the Hills and Far Away, featuring multiple guitar parts. Meanwhile, Jones had developed a new arrangement of No Quarter. Once the group were settled in Stargroves, they composed the other songs through jam sessions together. Composition. The album was a stylistic turning point for the band. The composition and production laid foundations for subsequent releases. According to the band's biographer Dave Lewis, while the barnstorming effect of the early era was now leveling off, and though devoid of the electricity of Zeppelin 1 and 2, the sheer diversity of the third album, and lacking the classic status of the fourth, Houses of the Holy nevertheless found its rightful niche. Yeah, that's really well said. Sorry y'all, I gotta read that shit again. According to the band's biographer Dave Lewis, while the brainstorming effect of the early era was now leveling off, and though devoid of the electricity of Zeppelin 1 and 2, the sheer diversity of the third album, and lacking the classic status of the fourth, Houses of the Holy nevertheless found its rightful niche. Yes, absolutely. I'm not putting words in the brother's mouth, but I believe what he's saying here is what I was saying about the diversity. This album represents their ability to go in so many different directions, man. Yo, you got classic rock, you got some thunder, you got the psychedelic, you got some reggae groove in there, you got some funk groove in there, you got a little bit of everything going on this album. Why? Because they can. Like I said, how many artists, especially back in that era, wish that they could change up the lineup of their sound? These brothers didn't even need a lot of thunder in here, you know what I mean? They still have the charm, they still have the signature Led Zeppelin sound. That is talent on loan from God, let me tell you. The album largely abandoned their previous music's weighty, dark blues, rock distortion in favor of a clean, expansive rock sound, as evidenced by Page's sharper, brighter guitar tone. It was also likely the most eclectic musically of their albums, in the opinion of Consequence of Sound writer Christopher Lenz, who observed the swing rhythms on Dancing Days and experiments with reggae and psychedelic music on Jamaica and No Quarter, respectively. Yeah, I'm not gonna say Diamaker. It's Jamaica, man. Pete Prone and H.P. Newquist have called it a diverse collection of rockers, ballads, reggae, funk, and 50s style rock and roll. Yeah, man. Very, very diverse. Absolutely. Release reception. This was Led Zeppelin's final studio release on Atlantic Records before forming their own label, Swan Song Records, in '74. And I believe that Bad Company, they had signed Bad Company under this as well, which would be distributed by Atlantic. It was also the only Led Zeppelin album that contained complete printed lyrics for each song. Quote, "The epic scale suited Zeppelin. They had the largest crowds, the loudest rock songs, the most groupies, the fullest manes of hair. Eventually, excess would turn into bombast, but on Houses, it still provided inspiration." Unquote. That's Gavin Edwards, Rolling Stone, 2003. They've changed up their tune, haven't they? You can tell they've learned the error of their ways. Although intended for release in January of '73, delays in producing the album cover meant that it was not released until March, when the band was on its 1973 European tour. The album was promoted heavily before the commencement of Led Zeppelin's subsequent North American tour, ensuring that it had ascended to the top of the American chart by the beginning of the tour. Because much of the album had been recorded almost a year previous, many of the songs which are featured on the album had already been played live by Led Zeppelin on their concert tours of North America, Japan, Europe, and the UK. That's in between '72 and '73. Houses of the Holy originally received mixed reviews, with much criticism from the music press being directed at the offbeat nature of tracks such as The Crunch and Jamaica. No doubt. Gordon Fletcher from Rolling Stone called the album, quote, "one of the dumbest, dullest, and most confusing albums I've heard this year," unquote, believing the band had digressed from the epitome of everything good about rock to a watered-down heavy metal act. Unquote. Rolling Stone. Man, when I first started doing my reactions and I read some of the reviews, especially from Rolling Stone, man, I was just so taken aback. I was so appalled at how critics were approaching music. These great experts of music, you know, these very, very successful musicians in their own right, you know, giving such lax praise to Led Zeppelin and some of their fellow contemporaries. But now I can laugh at it. I used to be quite butthurt about it. However, the album was a commercial success and topped the US charts and spent 39 weeks on the Billboard 200 albums chart, including 2 weeks at #1, their longest stint since Led Zeppelin 3. Not bad for a so-so album. The album was -- 4 on Billboard magazine's top albums of '73 year-end chart. Where do you rank this album among your favorites? Is it in your top 5 at all? Where do you rank this album? Yes, it's different for sure, and I can understand if you don't hold it in very, very high regard, but you definitely have to appreciate the fact that these guys are showing great diversity. If nothing else, right? You can at least give it that for sure. In Chris Gow's record guide, let's skip that shit, man. Let's go down to the next paragraph. Chris Gow. Throughout the record, quote, "Throughout the record, the band's playing is excellent," wrote AllMusic's Stephen Thomas Erlewine, making the eclecticism of Page and Robert Plant's songwriting sound coherent and natural, unquote. AllMusic. In 2020, the album was ranked number 278 on Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time. Yo, man, to make that list, you gotta have a pretty damn good way about you and a really good signature sound and a good collection of songs to make the 500. And they've made the 500, man. They're in the top 300. So, yo, maybe not their best album, but still a really, really great showcase of their talent. Talent on loan from God. That is Led Zeppelin, man. All right, so y'all, that concludes our look, a full album reaction and a review of Houses of the Holy, an album review. Quite a few really, really interesting points here. And yes, a first. You have actually seen me react to the studio version of The Crunch without cringing too much. you still got to take a couple of those ands and ohs out of there. Hey, I don't know how many songs Led Zeppelin has done, but you know what? I reserve the right to not like at least one. You know, hey, some people are still slaying me for that 2 years later, but it's all good. The crunch, man. I do like it when they're playing it live. All right. So I'm just scrolling down here. Checking out my, yeah, so where Led Zeppelin is concerned going forward, man, going into the new year, I'm in the phase of doing a lot of solo stuff. Well, not a lot of solo stuff, doing a lot of live stuff, but I want to start getting into some of their solo works as well. Some of those offbeat things like interviews and things like that. So if you guys have really good sets of stuff, send it my way. Still an open challenge to my Dazed and Confused challenge. You know, if you think that there's a Dazed and Confused version out there that's just as good, if not better, than the song remains the same version, send it my way. I will listen to every single Dazed and Confused version that you recommend. Same goes for, well, my top 5 live songs. Dazed and Confused, Whole Lotta Love, Song Remains the Same, Rain Song, No Quarter. Those are my favorite 5 live songs. So if you've got versions of those songs on a live basis that you think that is just as good as the Song Remains the Same version or better, send it my way, man. I might do a spin-off, I might do a one reaction, a back-to-back, whatever the case is. We'll see how it goes. But that's what I'm looking at doing where Led Zeppelin is concerned. I know that I gotta get back to the No Quarter, is it 95? 95 page and plant No Quarter. I had only done the Rain song, so I know that someone had sent me the link for the whole concert. So I've got to go back and find, I think it's Evelyn. I got to go back to Evelyn's messages and get that link and secure it before, I don't know, links disappear all the time. So one day it's up there and then the next day it's not available. So I'm not going to wait too long on that. So that's what I've got going on where it comes to Led Zeppelin. Still deep in the rabbit hole, man. Tadpole no more. I got something to say. I want to address somebody really, really special. A former co-worker, Mr. Sean Patrick O'Brien. He is the white Irish version of my dad. I give you props. While I was going through my Led Zeppelin walk, he was always in my ear. You know how Jiminy Cricket used to sit on Pinocchio's ear and whispering shit? He's like that. He's like Jiminy Cricket. And he'd be like, yo, Tadpole, where are you at in your Led Zeppelin walk? And I remember one time specifically saying to him, yo, I am hitting up the album Houses of the Holy. And he played a trick on me because I was still green and still ignorant. He said, right on, man. I can't wait until you actually get to the song Houses of the Holy. You know, he says, so whereabouts are you, on the first or the second side? I said, I'm on the second side. I'm around No Quarter. He goes, oh my gosh. So you passed Houses of the Holy. And I stopped for a minute and I'm thinking about it. And he goes, don't tell me that you passed Houses of the Holy. You got to go back and you can't do the album Houses of the Holy without doing the damn song Houses of the Holy. And you know, I was green because I didn't know what song specifically was on what, you know, so I kind of excused myself, went around the corner and I checked my phone and shit, and he's like, I got you. You're checking your damn phone. At that point, I didn't realize that the song Houses of the Holy was on Physical Graffiti and not on the album. So it's just taken advantage of my ignorance back then. So anyway, it's an example of what he's like. And he will always raise the bar. He will always say, yo, you are not a Led Zeppelin aficionado until you have done this reaction, this reaction, this reaction. And he kept just putting a whole bunch of fuel on it. It was annoying at times, but now I appreciate it because now I'm a graduate. I'm a Tadpole no more. So shout out to you. Sean has retired, went back to the homeland to be with his ailing parents. They're in their 90s and he is in his 70s. So, and I know that he's got the Rona right now and his health is failing. So, shout out to you, sir. I appreciate you very much. Hopefully you get better. So if you guys don't mind, send a lot of well wishes to my colleague, Sean Patrick O'Brien. All right. So that is my Houses of the Holy Led Zeppelin reaction and review. Thanks very much for joining me, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks to a lot of you who are insisting that I do the album reaction, especially to the albums that I am not as connected to, and this being one of them. So my next full album reaction for Led Zeppelin will be Presence. And again, that's another album that I've only combed over once, and I think I have to go back, do a few more listens, but definitely I want to do the whole album listen like Led Zeppelin intended. So, and like a lot of subscribers and patrons are calling for. So I'll do that. It'll be probably in another week or so, man. As well, did I already mention it? No, I've just been running my damn mouth. I'm not looking at my notes. The next Led Zeppelin thing will be New York, September 17th, 1970, the evening show, New York. And my great subscriber, patron John, he sent me this along with a couple of other links. So I'm gonna do that probably in the next couple of days and get that out. So that's been hanging on there for a little while. So John, thank you for that recommendation, and I'm definitely getting to it a little bit later than expected, but I'm definitely getting to it. So thanks very much. I appreciate that. Anyways, y'all, that is my reaction to this fantastic album. Thanks for joining me. Take care, and I'll catch you in my next full album reaction, which will be Presence. Peace out.